Hello everyone, welcome to day 3. Today we are going to talk about what are the top AI jobs that you can land or you can even prepare yourself. Okay, so AI isn't just the future, like it's already happening right now and it is already transforming a lot of businesses and a lot of platforms that we just see. And so here's the big question, like what jobs you can actually land or you can prepare yourself for this whole AI transformation. So in this video we are going to talk about that. So today I'll break down what are the top AI careers and what are the skills required in order to get those jobs. So the first one is the data roles. I would say it's almost a decade now, or more than a decade, where these roles have become quite mature, and we can see that they have transformed from how the traditional IT jobs were there. These are the new jobs, which is most everywhere. When you see the data science or machine learning or AI ML jobs, you will find most of the people working in these kind of domains. So the first one is the data engineer. Yes. Data engineer is someone who is going to build the data pipelines. Like if you have to build a solution, any AI/ML solution, just think of ChatGPT. That if you do not have the right amount of data, you do not have a process how to get that data, then you'll not be able to build those kinds of model. So data engineering is all about making sure how to work with this big data, how to build pipelines, how to clean the data, how to, make sure the data is available for the different job roles that is there, like for data scientists, machine learning engineers. So that's all the, data engineer's role is. What are the major skills that are required if you look into the database knowledge and at the same time how to work in the cloud infrastructure, like, in AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, GCP. And also at the same time, you should have a knowledge how to deal with the big data because most of the companies are dealing it with huge amount of data. And not only some structured data, voice form, or even if it's in text format, there's a huge amount of data you need to process. So yeah, data engineer is still one of the most important job out there. Now coming to the second job, that is data analyst, or I would say now as a business analyst. So business analyst roles earlier used to be just requiring the business or gathering the business knowledge and then transforming in a way where a technical person can understand. This is something where you need to drive a lot of meaningful information from the data. So data analyst or business analyst roles are here to build dashboards, to build different kind of visualizations that is being used by different teams or management or clients to understand and get meaningful information from the data. So that is the data analyst role. In order to get that, the skills required is again, having knowledge of database, SQL, and some of the data visualizations tools like Power BI and so on, and also statistics. That is again very important. The second most famous role that is there is of data scientist. We can call it applied data scientist. Now, data scientist is someone who will have a knowledge about data analysis because that is still core, but will not only just do the basic data analysis, but will take it further and will build some solutions and will build some prototypes or models which can be used to solve a problem. Let's say if you want to build a prediction model, right? You are not only analyzing, you're actually forecasting a sales. That is somewhere the data scientists come. They need to work with like structured data, unstructured data, and build models and not only build models but evaluate how the model works in production. So skills required is not only just the data knowledge, but you need to know what are the data engineers, how to get the data, how to analyze the data, but also build models and solutions. For that, you need to have a very strong ML fundamental. Now, another role, so this is the data roles, 3 data roles that are there under the data role. Now, the core AI/ML roles, if we talk about, are as we follow. So, the first one is AI/ML engineers. Yes. So, engineers are someone who is not going to just build the models from the code. Maybe most of the time you have to build the models, but then you might not be doing some initial research. Let's say you have some models, you can train that model, use some pre-trained model, and then tweak your model with the data you have, right? And then quickly build solutions that are production ready. So AI, you can think of they are like specialized software engineers which can build AI/ML solutions and not only build but scale those solutions for end-to-end customers. Let's say the Chat GPT. So there would be research scientists, people who have built the model, but then in order to deploy that model so that billions of users can use that model at the same time, only AI/ML engineers will be able to do that. And that's why you need specialized skills where you need to know how to build models, not only build, but scale the models, deploy them, how to use API, how to use cloud platforms and different tools and platforms that are there to deploy your model. So that is where the AI/ML engineer role comes into the picture. Another role is very, very critical role, that is an AI research scientist. These are the people who create new algorithms. Let's say you would have heard of transformer architecture, and that has transformed the whole generative AI space. Yeah, so some research scientists would have actually worked towards solving that problem, as build a new approach to solve a particular problem. So what they work on, they work in an academics or maybe working in some new cutting edge research technologies. Generally, the people who have in-depth knowledge, have PhD level ML, have worked in depth on, have a mathematics and research background. These are the folks who generally goes into and is an AI research scientist. Now in AML space, there's a new job that has come up just from last few years, like after this whole generative AI thing that has come. And that is a generative AI engineers. Now, these are the people who might not have complete background and knowledge and in-depth knowledge around AML, but they are very good with playing around with the models, generative AI models that are there. And they can build solutions and apps that uses AI as the backend. Like, for example, you can use OpenAI, you can use any other, LLM, and then either fine tune that model or work in a prompt engineering manner, build a framework that can solve some problem, like build agentic solutions or solve a specific problem. So these are engineers who might not have a strong ML or mathematics knowledge, but they know how to work with new generative AI solutions. Now, I would again not recommend you to directly jump onto this kind of role, but I'm seeing this happening. A lot of people are just getting into generative AI engineers role. It's good to have, but if you really want to make, improve in your career, you still need to, I feel, still need to have the basic ML knowledge. That would be really good if you want to grow in your career. So that these are the core AI ML roles that are there. Now let's come to some of the non-technical AI roles. All of these roles require you to know basic programming, basic mathematics, basic machine learning knowledge in order to grow. Like without that, you will not be able to survive in this role or even get into this role. But there are few roles that are coming up which might not require you to know a lot of technical knowledge, but to know how AI works. And these are the non-technical AI. The first one, which is very famous nowadays, that is getting a lot of traction and a lot of good pay. The first one is AI product managers. Yes. A lot of big companies and even the startups, right? Like they know the business, but they don't know how to bridge that technical or AI capabilities that can be built in the product or the solutions. For that, the AI product managers are someone who can bridge this tech plus business thing, where they can define the product vision, they can understand what the customer pain points are there and how AI can solve that, right? So they help in they help in creating a product strategy that help, businesses to make more value and use some AI ML technologies that can help their customers and they can, create better businesses. Another role is in the very similar space is AI consultants. Now, AI consultants help. These are something you will say very similar to product managers, but then they work very closely with business, try to understand their business problems, and then help them in building the solutions. Now, they might help them building an initial quick prototypes, or maybe they will help them in using some of the technologies that are already there so they can solve some of their business problem. Let's say, some AI to solve some fraud detection problem, or some retail company wants to use for some forecasting problem. So they can reach out to these consultants, and these consulting companies or consultants help them in figuring out, okay, how they can use AI or ML solutions, how that can be fit in. They can help them in building an initial prototype to show them the value, how AI can really solve these problems. And then they can invest more to build the solutions. Either someone can build for them or they can build an in-house team who can solve this problem. So that's how these things work. Another role that is coming up is prompt engineer role. Now, prompt engineers are, again, I'm not very much sure about this role, what will be the, life of this role and how this role will be transformed, but I can still see there is a demand and, businesses are looking for people who can build this work good with prompt. So basically here you need to know how to get the right answer from the LLMs. Like that's it. Like how you can create a prompt which can help businesses use the already available tech that is there, like using some chat GPT or Claude or Google Gemini, any of the LLMs that are there. Now, coming to the fourth section, that is AI ops, I would say, or ML ops, or the system and the platform side of the rules. The first one is ML ops engineers. Yes. MLOps is a very broad domain now, if you see, like, and it's a very, very, very rewarding space. Initially, like in IT and software engineering, we used to have DevOps role, but now MLOps has evolved because of the need that is there. Because the solutions that we have built in software and the way we build ML solutions, there is a difference. And in order to bridge that difference, in order to make ML solution which can scale, and at the same time, the models are also evolving at the time as we speak. Like, you need to bring up with the new models. You need to even check how the models are performing in productions and build a complete end-to-end CI/CD pipeline so you can models can be built quickly and then can be transferred to production quickly. So for all that you need MLOps engineers who either build platforms or use the platform that are there to help teams to scale their whole CI/CD pipeline. Another role that is, I think, is going to get more traction and is going to more reward as we go is the AI design engineers, which is like more hardware focused. If you know, like, all these bigger AI ML models and systems requires to run on GPUs. And in order to make that thing work, we need expert people who can understand how the GPU kernels work, how accelerators work, so how chips can be optimized to run these models. So there are a lot of focus areas, and you will find these people getting much more reward, and especially in companies like Qualcomm, Nvidia, Apple, because they need you to know their hardware level knowledge, and that's where it's going to be more fruitful. So these are the roles that are already there and much more rewarding in AI. Some of the roles, as I see, right, like there can be coming up is basically AI regulators roles that are going to come up, who understand the legal part, who understand how the data is getting used, the data governance and other areas. You can see more and more policies are coming up in the AI, but different countries like Europe, European Union, US has already rolled out a lot of policies in order how the AI system should be built, what kind of data you can use and all. So there are going to be a lot of non-technical rules that are going to come in that space. So yeah, I think these are the few things I wanted to share, the top AI rules that are there in 2025, and then what you can think could be coming up next. Okay, so if you know any other roles that you're working on, or you think these other roles might come in AI, please put that into the comment. Also, if someone who are already working in this domain, please tell me, like, on what role you're working on. And that would be really interesting to know how many people are working in different roles. So that's it for today.